Coming up next, we're going to count down the top 10 songs of this very same week from the year 1988. We're going to recalibrate them based on their all-time performance, their performance up to now. And for the first time, we're going to include your stories, your memories, your dedications, along with the direct commentary from the actual artists who created these hits. It's going to be cool. What is the new number one song based on all-time longevity? Is it Guns N' Roses? Is it Rick Astley? Is it Def Leppard? Or is it somebody else? Find out next on Professor of Rock, brought to you by Curiosity Stream. Hey, music junkies. Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you love classic rock, classic pop, make sure to subscribe below right now to be a part of our community. We'd love to have you. Exclusive stories straight from the legends. And make sure to check out our exclusive content. That's on Patreon. That helps us keep this channel going. The link's in the description. And we also have cool new merch you can check out as well. So as a child of the 80s, well, born in the 70s, but growing up in the 80s, like many of you, I'm sure, I was raised on Casey Kasem's American Top 40 Countdown. I mean, I listened every week without fail. I was always rooting for my favorite song to hit number one. And about a month ago, a few months ago, I started a new show called the Hit Song Redux, where we go back to a golden year in the rock and roll era, and we recalibrate the songs of that specific week based on their performance since their peak position on the Billboard Hot 100, the formula that we came up with. Well, after thinking about it and after some tweaking and getting your feedback, I think I'm ready to make this a regular feature, including your stories and your dedications, and of course the actual artists commenting on their own songs. A lot of history there. All of these songs, by the way, are in a playlist that we've created below, so you can listen after the video or during the video, relive the hits, and make this just like the countdown back in the day. We're going to count down for the very same week, September 17th, the year 1988. So coming in at number 10. So there are only 4 artists at this point in history who have had a music video that has topped 1 billion views on YouTube. 2 of them are in this top 10. The 4 who have done it are Guns N' Roses, Michael Jackson, a-ha, and Rick Astley, who is actually at the 10 slot with It Would Take a Strong, Strong Man. It would take a strong, strong man. It actually went to number 1 on the AC charts and in Canada. From the Stock Aitken Waterman hit machine, this was the 3rd hit from Rick's album, Whenever You Need Someone, after Never Gonna Give You Up and Together Forever. Both of those went to number 1. We're no strangers to love, together forever and never to part. This song is kind of in the vein of those old soul songs like Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Ain't too proud to plead, baby, baby. Now, I give you fair warning, having brought up Rick Astley, someone is going to get rickrolled before this thing is over. This song has done so-so since its original release. It's had about 7.5 million streams between YouTube and Spotify. Very far from Rick's 1 billion views for Never Gonna Give You Up, which he hit a few months ago. To ever let you go. At the number 9 spot, we have a song that Def Leppard lead singer Joe Elliott said was a play on words. When somebody chews on your neck, you get a bruise. So in Britain, the word for a hickey, according to Joe Elliott, is love bites. Of course, from their mega album Hysteria, and their first and only number 1 hit in the US, they should have had plenty more. Guitarist Phil Collins said that everyone in the band was kind of scared of this song because the vocal parts were so high. We had a lot of people comment on this song. In fact, Sean Smith says that the Hysteria tour was the first concert that he and his wife attended. I guess she was pregnant with their first child at the time. They had a son who now absolutely loves Def Leppard, probably from the concert. Viewer J.A. remembers that his family had a stereo in their lounge room and they all rocked out to this song. Henry Buss remembers hearing the title track to the album one spring morning. And James Cook and a viewer named Marcus, they reminisce about buying Hysteria on cassette with their allowance. I believe one of them was their first ever purchase. Everybody had this album. Now, Love Bites has actually held up really well since its peak. It still sounds great. It's had 52 million streams on Spotify and almost 100 million on YouTube. The sequel to one of the greatest comedies ever was, by all accounts, Turkey. When you don't have Bill Murray, it's not going to go very well. They did bring back Kenny Loggins for the theme song, Caddyshack 2. You know, he killed it the first time around with I'm All Right. Here's what Kenny said about Nobody's Fool. It was as big a hit as I'm All Right was. It went to number 8. I'm All Right went to number 7. It was definitely better than the movie, right? But I love,
unfortunately,
but I love that song because at the end, vocally, you do some things that are just like mesmerizing. Tell me about writing that song. Just Caddyshack, they wanted to come up with another song?
Yeah, because it was Caddyshack Part 2. They asked me if I was interested, and I was really hoping that they'd get Rodney Dangerfield and get some of the originals back. And it just wasn't the same.
Jackie Mason and
it just wasn't the same.
Dan Aykroyd. You can't replace Bill Murray.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
I actually had a viewer, a screen name RBS. He shared a story about how back in 1988, he was living at home. He was broke. He had no love, no money, no prospects, no anything. Very depressed. So to cheer himself up, he went out to buy a 45 single, and there was a defect, so he couldn't play the song. So he went in and got a replacement, and he ended up buying this song, the new Kenny single that was out at the time. Ever since then, for RBS, this song has been his go-to song to motivate him, especially the chorus. Severely underrated. It's only had about 3 million streams since its peak. It's definitely one to check out in the playlist. Coming in at number 7, we have a group who lost one of its prominent members in Bobby Brown, but they gained a legendary producing and writing duo for this particular song and album, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. This is a song, If It Isn't Love. Jam and Lewis, of course, the amazing duo behind Janet Jackson's biggest hits, Boyz II Men, Michael Jackson, so many others.
Jimmy Jam!
I love this song. It has just a spellbinding vocal from Ralph Tresvant. Here's what Jimmy Jam told me about this song.
Ralph was the guy in the studio. He could be in the studio for 8 to 10 hours doing all the vocal parts, stacking all the harmonies, doing all the stuff. The guys would eventually come in and do their parts, but they'd just copy what he already did. Yeah, that was straight like Jackson 5, Love You Save type thing. So it was just kind of taking ingredients of a whole lot of different things and making it familiar sounding, where you would go, oh, that's a new addition, but also just updating it, you know?
Make me feel so sad inside.
Ironically, this song was held out of the number 1 spot on the R&B charts by former member Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel. This song has actually soared since its peak. It's had almost 150 million streams between YouTube and Spotify. So coming in at number 6, after taking over the world in 1984, this legendary rock band, one of my favorites ever, they lost their lead singer. Enter the Red Rockers, Sammy Hagar. After a number 1 album in 86, Van Halen and Hagar, they had their second straight number 1 LP with OU812. Now the biggest hit from this record was When It's Love, which would peak in the top 5. It's at number 6 for this week. Here's what Sammy told me about this song. Eddie got married to that song.
A lot of people have been married to that song.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean, that song is like, that's the marriage, the walk down the aisle of all times. It's so funny. I love it. I was coming down to start writing for that album. I said, what do you guys got, man? What have you been working on? They went in, they got sounds, so I come in later. And because I lived in San Francisco, still do, Bay Area. So he puts a cassette in and plays down, down, down. And I just go, woo, boing, man, cha-wang, ka-wang. By the time we got to the studio, I already had, my chorus melodies, and even the verse, everybody's looking for something. And that was the first time I ever sang a line that Eddie was playing. Da, 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 da. Yeah. And I just sang right to the piano. I said, I don't like doing that, And he's going, no, it's cool, man, it's cool. Yeah. Normally you don't sing, like the epitome of that is Iron Man. I am Iron Man. Musicians always think of that as being kind of like a dumb stuff, that's stupid. Don't do that. Don't sing with me. I'm playing that. You play your own thing.
Yeah.
But Iron Man was the epitome of making it heavy, right? No, this is cool this way.
The harmonies, just killer on that song. I always loved this song. I used to listen to it with my headphones on, daydreaming about my crush at the time. Actually, our viewer, Dan Hendon, tells the story of seeing Van Halen live in 2004. It was the last time he saw him, and he was determined not to miss a second of the show, even though he needed to use the bathroom throughout the show. So I guess he picked up his empty beer cup, and he just urinated in it, is what he said. Van Halen ended the show with When It's Love, and he got to see it, didn't miss a second of it. Another one of our viewers, screen name ScottoCaster66, he wanted to dedicate this song to his wife, Sue. They're celebrating 33 years of marriage. Congratulations. So in addition to my fascination with music, I love documentaries that tell the true story with no fiction or sensationalized content. And that's exactly what I found when I discovered CuriosityStream. That's really perfect for me. CuriosityStream features captivating documentaries that cover a wide variety of topics. I wanted to tell everybody here at Professor of Rock and the community about CuriosityStream because I think all of you that dig storytelling are going to love CuriosityStream like I do. Now, we've arranged a special subscription rate for Professor of Rock viewers, only $14.99 for the entire year. So you can all experience all of the amazing entertainment there. Just click on the link below and type in Professor of Rock with no spacing to get your subscription and start enjoying thousands of features on CuriosityStream today. Which brings us to the number 5 position. This is a diva whose debut album had 4 top 10 hits. Coming off of the pop scorcher Tell It to My Heart and the freestyle dance pop of Prove Your Love. Taylor Dane's third single was a ballad, I'll Always Love You.
And I'll always love you.
It was actually nominated for 2 Grammys the year after. Here's what Taylor Dane said about the song and the album at the time.
This was the game changer for me. This put me into the vocal prowess. This definitely changed my direction as an artist. And it was very important. And this was a real baby for the label because not only did it start multiply charting on every chart, I mean, it was more than a pop hit. This became a cultural hit. This was a wedding standard. And vocally, it put me in the next level of vocalist. And really, that's when I broke out of the pack as, Taylor Dane, this artist, more pop, and I became, an actual respected as an artist. The vocals in that,
This single has gone gold and has been streamed almost 20 million times since its peak.
You're my lucky star.
And coming in at number 4. We've been Rickrolled. Actually, that Rickroll is dedicated to my son, William, who loves Rick Astley. I didn't even show him the song or Rick. He and his friends discovered it on a meme. So anyway, at number 4, we have a song that would be the pop culture slogan of the year, Don't Worry, Be Happy, by the very talented Bobby McFerrin.
Don't worry, be happy.
I gotta tell you, I hated this song when I was a kid. I mean, I loathed it. It had an otherworldly ability to sit right in the center of your brain for days on end. Still does. This song is known for Bobby McFerrin creating every single sound in the song with his voice. He didn't use any instruments at all. It became the first a cappella song to top the Billboard charts.
Don't worry.
I remember it had a really cool music video with the late Robin Williams. Since its peak on the charts, it is still riding high. It's almost had 500 million views and streams, so still out there.
Don't bring everybody down like this.
And at number 3, an artist who was coming off of 2 blockbuster albums in a row, each with multiple hit songs, plus a #1 hit from one of the biggest movies of the entire decade, Back to the Future. Of course, everybody knows Huey Lewis. He followed up his massively successful album 4 that came out in '86 with Small World.
Everybody's looking for the perfect world.
Perfect World came from Small World. That was the big single from it. It was definitely a change in sound and direction musically for Huey Lewis and the News, and he talked about his process that he has with creating new music. Here's what he said.
You know, what we're trying to do it's pop music, it's popular music, not jazz, it's not classical, this is popular music. So you gotta, it's relatable, it's a communication, it's a messagey kind of a communication thing, popular music. So it's important that it resonate with so what you're trying to do really is reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's exactly what you're trying to do.
I remember I had a theory back then, which became a rumor that I started at my school, that the release of Perfect World was proof that Back to the Future 2 was coming out any day, and I just knew it was. Perfect World was going to be like the theme song for it. I think I just told myself that to get myself through. You remember that we had the to be continued end screen on the original movie Back to the Future. And kids today will never know the patience that we 80s kids had to have to wait so long for the sequel. It took forever. Which brings us to the #2 spot. Yeah, I know the term underrated and underappreciated even have been beat to death in the time that we live in. But I got to tell you, the man that has the #2 hit on the chart dated September 17, 1988 was vastly underappreciated when he was alive. A venerable hit maker, if there ever was one. Robert Palmer stormed the chart with Simply Irresistible.
Simply irresistible.
Robert Palmer, he was so smooth. He was like the James Bond of pop music. The suave voiced Brit struck musical gold again with this hit. This was just a few years after his 1986 blockbuster Addicted to Love. With Simply Irresistible, he brought back the vampy models from the Addicted to Love video. This song is about an enticing woman who gets whatever she wants from her lover. It would be a song that would also earn Palmer his 2nd Grammy Award. It was the following year. This song, it just reminds me of sitting in my room, listening to the radio. It would come on. I remember reading Mad Magazine, drinking Pepsi, which of course was what the song was really about, right?
Simply irresistible.
Which brings us to the #1 song in the world for September 17th, 1988. I remember doing the dance of joy when this song and this band hit #1. I mean, their album had changed my life that summer, and I would listen every single week, willing it to go to the top of the charts. It absolutely blew up pop music, giving an edge to it. It wouldn't have for another few years. It was really the last time it had any edge, Nirvana. Guns N' Roses with the beautiful ode to one Aaron Everly, Axl's lady and the daughter of the late Phil and Don Everly. The lyrics were from a poem that Axl wrote for Aaron. After dating for 4 years, they actually got married in Vegas, and the marriage only lasted 9 months. But many of you know the story of this song. It's so great. We've covered it before. You can actually see it in full detail below. I'll link to it. One interesting note about this song since its release, in 2015, an Australian website called Max TV pointed to its similarity to a song called Unpublished Critics. That song was actually released in 1981 by a band called Australian Crawl. In 2015, Guns bassist Duff McKagan said that the similarities were very, very uncanny. He added, it is pretty stunning, but we didn't steal it from him. I swear I never heard the song until a couple of days ago. This song, Sweet Child of Mine, had the most responses from our viewers. In fact, viewer host 7747 said that he was dancing with his girlfriend in college in the 80s. They agreed whatever the last song the DJ played would be their song. And the DJ played Sweet Child of Mine. And even though they are no longer together, he says that whenever the song is played, he thinks of her and just smiles. Great memory there. Viewer Denise Barnard remembers how in late 1987, a friend of hers was doing sound for a new band who was opening for Motley Crue. She actually got invited to the show, and she sat in the sound booth and watched that opening band, who were named Guns N' Roses. She watched them just mesmerize the crowd. She never even heard of them at that point. After the show, at the hotel, she actually got to meet the members of GNR. In her words, the Pell lead singer with long red hair, who was very polite, very sweet, asked me what songs did I like. And I said the Sweet Child song really stood out to me. So many more stories. I mean, Appetite for Destruction, Sweet Child of Mine. This was the song and the album that just changed lives. I'll post more in the comments of what you shared. So after counting down the exact charts from September 17, 1988, here's our new top 5 based on how they performed since their peak. At number 5, Robert Palmer with Simply Irresistible has 63 million streams. Number 4, If It Isn't Love by New Edition, 142 million. And number 3, Love Bites by Def Leppard with 147 million. And number 2, Don't Worry Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin with 482 million. And at number 1, on our Hit Song Redux, no change, Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine at 2.56 billion. I mean, blowing everyone away then and now. One of the biggest songs ever. As Axl so eloquently put it, reminds me of childhood memories. Hey, make sure to leave us a comment about this top 10. Listen to the playlist below. Let's really have a great show here. Share your memories of these songs and about the wonderful year of 1988. What are your thoughts on the new top 5? What other weeks should we look at here? When we do a vintage years collection concept for 1988, here's 87, which is close. Who should we include for 88? If we didn't get your dedication or memory, we will get to it. Share with us in the comments. We have more to come for sure. If you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe below to get these albums, to listen to the songs. Click on the playlist below. Make sure to check out our Patreon, check out our merch. Help us keep the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. We'll see you tomorrow.